Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
The translations and purpose to chapter 17 are by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay, so we are into 17th chapter. Sorry, did anybody say anything? I think it is
No?
echoing. So you may want to mute yourself for some time.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah. Okay, so 17th chapter Bhagavad Gita. Krishna completed the 16th chapter where he explained the divine, Devi Sampada and Asurik Sampada, divine and demonic natures. And he spoke about how people in different uh, situations act in different, like how in the mode of what are their activities and how they behave in different situations in terms of what they eat, in terms of how they conduct their life, themselves, in terms of their activities, in terms of their study of the scriptures also. That was the last two verses where he spoke that these demonic people, let's go to the last verse of the 16th chapter. I'll share. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. So, in the scriptures, everything is clearly said what to be done, what not to be done. And there are scriptures as rules and regulations, basically, right? So, one can understand by reading the scriptures what to be done and what not to be done. So, that was the final instruction from the chapter 16. After going through different demonic and divine natures and how they behave, how they do, what are the consequences of each one in that particular natures. After that, since he says this, that one should know by reading the scriptures and come to the understanding what to be done, what not to be done. After that, what happens is Arjuna asks a question to Krishna. So I'll show the breakdown of the chapter. Arjuna's inquiry about the unauthorized worship. So there are people who are attached to something and they worship the Lord in different places in chapters 9th, in chapter 7th, and 4th. Krishna speaks about different types of worship. What happens if people in different worships, where do they go? Yanti Deva Vritan Deva Pritrin Yanti Vita. If you worship the demigods, you go to demigods planets. If you worship the Pitrus, you go there. If you worship the ghosts and the spirits, then you go to there or take birth in such beings. If you worship me, you'll come to me. So different types of worships Krishna has already delineated. Now Arjuna's inquiry is, what if these people who don't know what to do, who doesn't, who demonic, basically his question is about the demonic people, these demonic people who have some faith because they are doing something, right? Because in the demonic also they worship something, they eat, they worship, they uh, do everything just like how the divine natured people do. And demonic also does everything, like we see in the population of the entire world. They are all in one sense not following the authorized rules and regulations. It is in one way to be called as demonic only. So what do they do? Like some people have some faith here and there and they do some worship. What about that? That is Arjuna's inquiry. Arjuna's inquiry about the unauthorized worship, because there is some faith, they worship something. What happens to them? Then Krishna explains in 2 to 7 the three modes determine one's faith, Shraddha, and worship, which is not new topic entirely because Krishna already spoke about the three modes of material nature in the 14th chapter. So based on the three modes, one Shraddha is determined. Then that is how they worship. Then he goes on explaining. The chapter name is Divisions of Faith. Chapter is titled Divisions of Faith. So in different divisions means like gradations, right? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Because the modes have already been introduced in 14th chapter. Now 17th chapter is speaking about different modes, how people do different things. Like what do they eat in 3 modes? What are the sacrifices they do in these 3 modes? What are the austerities that they do? Different first austerities, and what are the 3 different types in different modes? Charity in 3 modes, and conclusion. That is what he talks. This is a lengthy, it's not a lengthy chapter, but a lot of subdivisions. 1 to 7, then 8 to 10, 11 to 13, like that. There are subdivisions. So let's go into the details of the purports. The first question. You can still see my screen, right? 17th chapter?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, okay. The divisions of faith. Arjuna vacha ye shastravidam utsrijya yajante shaddayanvita tesham nishtatuka Krishna sattvam aho rajastamaha. Synonyms. Arjuna vacha, Arjuna said, ye, those who shastra vidim, the regulations of scripture, utsrijya, giving up, yajante, worship, shraddaya, full faith, anvita, possessed of, tesham, of them, nishta, the faith, to, but, what, Krishna, oh Krishna, sattvam, in goodness, aho, or else, raja, in passion, tama, in ignorance. Translation. Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of scripture but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? Purport. In the 4th chapter, 39th verse, it is said that a person faithful to a particular type of worship gradually becomes elevated to the stage of knowledge and attains the highest perfection stage of peace and prosperity. In the 16th chapter, it is concluded that one who does not follow the principles laid down in the scriptures is called an asura, demon, and one who follows the scriptural injunctions faithfully is called a deva or demigod. Now, if one with faith follows some rules which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions, what is his position? This doubt of Arjuna's is to be cleared by Krishna. Are those who create some sort of God by selecting a human being and placing their faith in him, worshipping in goodness, passion, or ignorance? Do such persons attain the perfection stage of life? Is it possible for them to be situated in real knowledge and elevate themselves to the highest perfection stage? Do these who do not follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures, but who have faith in something and worship gods and demigods and men attain success in their effort? Arjuna is putting these questions to Krishna. So since he has heard about all the demon and demonic natures, followed by that, these people have some faith somewhere, but they don't follow the scriptures because scriptures are very clearly articulated. They have to be done in this way. There are do's and don'ts. Scripture is like very directional, very authoritative. There is no 2 ways about it. Like if it says it like this, it has to be done like that. So, but these people who are demonic, they don't follow any rules and regulations of the scriptures, but they have some faith because everyone has some faith. The faith is automatic because that's an innate thing in any living being. They are by nature faithful. There is some faith. Faith means what? That we know it will happen. We stand in the bus stop. We expect the bus to come. That's the faith we keep in it. Every morning, we have a faith that sun will rise and we'll get the sunlight. And in the evening, it will become, we don't look forward for that, but then there is that if people are looking, like it will happen. So there is a faith. That faith is very innate to every living entity. It's very, you cannot separate it. So the faith is such an important thing that if you put your faith in Krishna and the devotees, then that means your path is setting in that way. All these other people, they definitely have faith. They have faith in something. Not having faith is also some type of faith, basically, that they don't believe in it. That is what they're attached to, that they believe in that. That is what they're faithful to, that they don't attach to God. They don't believe in God. That is what they are attached to. That is the faith they keep in. But who attach to the Lord, who are faithful to the Lord, means they have some faith in the demigods, the devatas. So the faith is there for everyone. So it's a very, very important thing. The faith that has to be nurtured properly. If we can nurture our faith in Krishna, then we are on the right track as per the Bhagavad Gita process, right? Bhagavad Gita, what is Krishna is explaining, if you come to me, if you worship me, then you'll come to me. So you become faithful to me, then you'll go on this path. So this faith is very there, and they do whatever they like, because they have some faith in here, they have some faith there. They do something in their own imagination. This is what Arjuna is asking. What happens to them? They are doing something. Although they are not following the scriptures, but they are faithful. What happens? So this is the point that Krishna is talking about. There are faiths in different ways. Modes. Mode means the nature, basically. What you do, which is nothing but where you put your faith, where your inclinations are, where you go to directly. For a devotee, probably they go directly to Krishna. But for everybody else, whoever they are attached to, they go to that. That is faith. That is your nature. That is the mode. And then the modes are defined. Mode meaning everything is together, right? It's not isolated. The modes, the nature, the faith, one builds on the other. You cannot isolate that. The faith is something separate from your mode that you have. Goodness means you are faithful to the God. Passion means you are faithful, very faithful to something that gives you some returns very quickly and very passionate about it. And you're in ignorance means you are faithful to that which is not very conducive for progress. So this is where the faiths are. So the modes, the faith, the nature, these are all interrelated. So, and Krishna explained about the modes earlier. In that also he spoke about what someone eats in this kind of mode. What do they do in this mode? How do they work in this mode? This is, he explained the modes. Now he's talking about the faith. Within the faith, how the modes are acting. So, sorry, within the modes, how the faith is acting. So, goodness, passion, ignorance are the modes. How you become faithful to one, what do you eat in that? That is the section subheadings, right? We just saw. Like, what are the foods in the three modes? That is their faith. That is how they are going. Sacrifices that they do, austerities they do, charity they do in different situations, in the different natures that they carry. So that's Arjuna's apt question. Now Krishna is going to answer. Prabhuji, would you like to read?
Okay. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Trivida Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sa Svabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tam Shrunu. Synonym: Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Trividha, of three kinds, Bhavati becomes, Shraddha, the faith, Dehinam, of the embodied, Saha, that, Svabhavaja, according to his mode of material nature, Satviki, in the mode of goodness, Rajasi, in the mode of passion, Cha, also, Eva, certainly, Tamasi, in the mode of ignorance, Cha, and iti, thus, tam, that, shrunu, hear from me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now hear about this. Purport. Those who know the rules and regulations of the scriptures, but out of laziness or indolence give up following these rules and regulations, are governed by modes of material nature. According to their previous activities in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, they acquire a nature which is of a specific quality. The association of the living entity with the different modes of nature has been going on perpetually. Since the living entity is in contact with the material nature, he acquires different types of mentality according to his association with the material modes. But this nature can be changed if one associates with a bona fide spiritual master and abides by his rules and the scriptures. Gradually, one can change his position from ignorance to goodness or from passion to goodness. The conclusion is that blind faith in a particular mode of nature cannot help a person become elevated to the perfectional stage. One has to consider things carefully with intelligence in the association of a bona fide spiritual master. Thus, one can change his position to a higher mode of nature.
Hmm.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I think what I explained earlier, still that is what is coming through again. We see. So whatever nature one has acquired, it can be classified into the three types of modes: nature of mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. But Prabhupada is giving hope. Here, Krishna is talking about this is what it is. It's a knowledge. It's just giving the knowledge. Prabhupada is explaining that it can be changed. If you associate with the devotees and the spiritual master, your mode of nature, your faith also accordingly changes. Your mode become from passion to goodness, from even ignorance directly to goodness also. How the meat eaters became pure devotees. Just because meat eating is in mode of good passion and ignorance, they started to chant Hare Krishna, which is like topmost, not even coming to worshipping demigods or anything, directly worshipping Krishna. So it is possible because the spiritual master is teaching and we are following. If you are abiding by the spiritual master's instructions and follow him faithfully, then this can happen. Shreyanshi, did you have a question that I missed?
No, no, Mataji. Actually, the Veda-based screen was not visible. That's why.
Now it
I
is
mean,
visible,
the
right?
PPT. No, actually, the PPT is showing.
Right now also?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Really? I thought I shared my screen. Is it okay? Is it showing the database now?
Yes, yes. Now sure.
Okay. So sorry. So you're probably reading from your book. Okay, can you read the third verse?
Yes. Sattva Nurupu Sattva Nurupa Sarvasya Shraddha Bhavati Bharat Shraddha Mayoyam Purusho Yo Yach uh, Chadda Sa Eva Sa. Sattva Anurupo, according to the existence, Sarvasya of everyone, Shraddha, faith, Bhavati becomes Bharat, O son of Bharat, Shraddha, faith, Maya full of, I am this Purusha, living entity, Yah, who, Yat, having which, Shraddha, faith, Saha, thus, Eva, certainly, Saha, he. O son of Bharat, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Everyone has a particular type of faith, regardless of what he is, but his faith is considered good, passionate, or ignorant according to the nature he has acquired. Thus, according to his particular type of faith, one associates with certain persons. Now, the real fact is that every living being, as is stated in the 15th chapter, is originally a fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, one is originally transcendental to all modes of material nature. But when one forgets his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and comes into contact with the material nature and conditional life, he generates his own position by association um, with the different varieties of material nature. The resultant artificial faith and existence are only material, although one may be conducted by some impression or some conception of life. Originally, he is nirguna or transcendental. Therefore, one has to become cleansed of the material contamination that he has acquired in order to regain his relationship with the Supreme Lord. That is the only path back without fear, Krishna consciousness. If one is situated in Krishna consciousness, then the path is guaranteed for his elevation to the perfectional stage. If one does not take to this path of self-realization, then he is surely to be conducted by the influence of the modes of nature. The word Shraddha or faith is very significant in this verse. Shraddha or faith originally comes out of the mode of goodness. One's faith may be in a demigod or some created god or some mental concoction. One strong faith is supposed to be productive of works of material goodness, but in material condition life, no works are completely purified. They are mixed. They are not in pure goodness. Pure goodness is transcendental. In purified goodness, one can understand the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As long as one's faith is not completely in purified goodness, the faith is subjected to contamination by any of the modes of material nature. The contaminated modes of material nature expand to the heart. Therefore, according to the position of the heart in contact with a particular mode of material nature, one's faith is established. It should be understood that if one's heart is in the mode of goodness, his faith is also in the mode of goodness. If his heart is in the mode of passion, his faith is also in the mode of passion. And if his heart is in the mode of darkness, illusion, his faith is also thus contaminated. Thus, we find different types of faith in this world, and there are different types of religions due to different types of faith. The real principle of religious faith is situated in the mode of pure goodness, but because the heart is tainted, we find different types of religious principles. Thus, according to different types of faith, there are different kinds of worship.
Right. So the question that Arjuna has asked is about the worship. What if they have some faith, not indirectly in the Lord or anything in the scriptures, but they have some faith? What is that type of worship are they doing? Is it goodness or passion or ignorance? That is a question, right? So Krishna is answering from now. This is the point Prabhupada has elaborated. Krishna's point is according to one's existence, one various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. So based on the mode, your faith is determined. If you're a mode of goodness person, now we know what is a mode of goodness, what they worship, what they eat, how they conduct their life, what activities they do, like that. Those are the mode of goodness. For every mode, there is some types of activities, some things that they do. Their nature is coming based on these things that they do: the eating, the activities, worship, and then how they behave, conduct their life. So these modes determine all these things, right? So if it is in goodness, then the faith is in a particular type of thing which is aligned to the goodness. If you are in the mode of passion, then the faith, that is the worship, because the question is about worship. The worship is about someone who will be very passionate, either living entity or some devata from whom you will get the results, or something else, or even ignorant, like, even to the people, they may worship persons also. That is passion. And if you're in mode of ignorance, tamasic, then the worship goes to the faith. They're faithful to demoniac, even to the ghosts and spirits, like that. But what is that we are talking about is finally Krishna consciousness, right? When we come to Krishna, it's pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva, not even goodness. Goodness, it is still you're worshipping the devatas. In the Shuddha Sattva only it will come to the personality of Godhead, worship of the personality of Godhead. So this is the point Krishna, Prabhupada is saying. The real principle of religious faith is situated in the mode of pure goodness. But the heart is tainted, because the heart in other modes is tainted with different types of religious principles. Because of you're tainted, you will establish one principle, even though it may not be a scripture coming from. They say you have to worship like this, stand to the west and worship, do in this way. Whatever you do the opposite, then that becomes your religious principle. And that is what you're attached to, and you'll do that. So these are not coming directly from the Vedic injunctions. Some man-made, and it is flowing through. So people have become attached to that in the passion mode. So according to different types of faith, there are different kinds of worship that is happening. Now he's going to speak about the in the goodness what happens in passion. More information. Anybody else would like to? Mataji, would you like to read? Mata Ganga Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Hmm.
Text 4, right?
Hmm.
Yajante satvika devan yaksha rakshasi rajasa pretan bhut ganancha anye yajante tamsa jana. Yajante worship. Satvika, those who are in the mode of goodness. Devan, demigods. Yaksha, Rakshami, demons. Rajasa, those who are in the mode of passion. Pretan, spirits of the dead. Bhuta, Ganam, ghost. Cha, and Anya, others. Yajante, worship. Tamasa, in the mode of ignorance. Jana, people. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship the ghosts and spirits. Purport. In this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead describes different kinds of worshippers according to their external activities. According to scripture injunction, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipable. But those who are not very conversant with or faithful to the scripture injunctions worship different objects according to their specific situations in the modes of material nature. Those who are situated in goodness generally worship the demigods. The demigods include Brahma, Shiva, and others such as Indra, Chandra, and the sun god. There are various demigods. Those in goodness worship a particular demigod for a particular purpose. Similarly, those who are in the mode of passion worship the demons. We recall that during the Second World War, a man in Calcutta worshipped Hitler because thanks to that war, he had amassed a large amount of wealth by dealing in the black market. Similarly, those in the modes of passion and ignorance generally select a powerful man to be God. They think that anyone can be worshipped as God and that the same results will be obtained. Now, it is clearly described here that those who are in the mode of passion worship and create such gods, and those who are in the mode of ignorance, in darkness, worship dead spirits. Sometimes people worship at the tomb of some dead man. Sexual service is also considered to be in the mode of darkness. Similarly, in remote villages in India, there are worshippers of ghosts who we have seen that in India, the lower class people sometimes go to the forest. And if they have knowledge that a ghost lives in a tree, they worship that tree and offer sacrifices. These different kinds of worship are not actually God worship. God worship is for persons who are transcendently situated in pure goodness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 4.3.23, it is said, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Sabditam. When a man is situated in pure goodness, he worships Vasudeva. The purport is that those who are completely purified of the material modes of nature and who are transcendently situated can worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The impersonalists are supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness, and they worship five kinds of demigods. They worship the impersonal Vishnu form in the material world, which is known as the philosophized Vishnu. Vishnu is the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the impersonalists, because they do not ultimately believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, imagine that the Vishnu form is just another aspect of the impersonal Brahman. Similarly, they imagine that Lord Brahma is the impersonal form in the material mode of passion. Thus, they sometimes describe five kinds of gods that are worshipable, but because they think that the actual truth is the impersonal Brahman, they dispose of all worshipable objects at the ultimate end. In conclusion, the different qualities of material modes of nature can be purified through association with persons who are of transcendental nature. Hare Krishna.
Right. Yeah. So the Krishna is saying that men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, Agni, sun god, moon god, rain god, wind god. These are all the gods that people worship because they want some results. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And Prabhupada quoted, passion and ignorant people, even they worship the human beings, other human beings if they are exalted. We know of some situations in in India where they worship a movie actor, a movie actress because they are very famous. So is that even worship? They offer flowers, fruits, whatever they worship, arti and all. So that is ignorance, basically. It's not authorized. And sometimes they even worship themselves. They worship, there are tombs in India, we'll see. And people go offer their worship, prayer to the tomb as if he's God, the person who died, and he will fulfill all your desires. So, like that. So, they go and worship these ghosts and spirits. So, these are all the different various modes. But who worship Krishna? Krishna already spoke about. If you go worship them, you will take birth in such beings, the next birth. Prabhupada quoted so many examples of Second World War, how people amassed, and in India also is speaking about that. So, any questions or any comments? Anyone wants to share any reflections so far?
Mataji, I was just wondering, what about the other religions in other parts of the world?
Yeah, all that is covered here. Other religions also. So
Okay,
until
okay.
you come to Vedic understanding, until you come to Vedic study, come at least to mode of goodness, which is worshipping the devatas. If you're not there, you're not even there, then everything else is below that. This is the understanding, right? We are reading clearly. We don't have to specify them specifically, other religions like that, but it is to be concluded in this way, deduce that if you are not worshipping devatas, you're in mode of, if you are worshipping devatas, you're in mode of goodness. That is the highest mode that we know of in the material world, or the faith also. Anything below that is passion and ignorance.
Okay, Mataji.
Okay. I will read. Anybody wants to read? Otherwise, next verse 5 and 6. If not, I will read.
I can read it, Mataji.
Okay, go ahead, Manoj. Text 5 and 6.
Let me open the thing because I had it open again. It's five and six together, right? Yeah. अशास्त्रविहितं घोरं तप्यन्ते ये तपो जनाः दम्भा अहङ्कारा संयुक्ता कामरागा बलान्विताः कर्षयतः शरीर सत्थं भूताग्रहम् असेतसा मामं च वनतः शरीर सत्हमं तन् विदे असुरा निश्चयन्. Synonymous. Astra asa satra, not in the scriptures. Vihitam, directed. Goharam, harmful to others. Tapasyante, undergo. Ye, those who. Tapaha, austerities. Jana, persons. Damba, with pride. Ahankara and egoism. Samyuktaha, engaged. Kama, of lust. Raga and attachment. Bala, by the force. Anvitaha, impelled. Karsyantaha, tormenting. Sharirastha, situated within the body. Bhuta, graha, the combination of the material elements. Asetasa, having a misled mentality. Mam me cha, also eva, certainly. Antaha, within. Sharira staham, situated in the body. Tan them, vidhi, understand. Asura nishayan demons. Translation: those who undergo severe austerities and penance is not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish and who torture and material elements of the body, torture the material elements of the body, as well as the supersoul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. Purport: There are persons who manufacture modes of austerity and penance which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions. For instance, fasting for some ulterior purpose, such as for to promote a purely political end, is not mentioned in the scriptural directions. The scripture recommends fasting for spiritual advancement, not for some political and or social purpose. Person who take to so much austerities are, according to Bhagavad Gita, is certainly demonic. Their acts are against the spiritual injunctions and are not beneficial for the people in general. Actually, they act out of pride, false ego, lust, and attachment for material enjoyment. By such activities, not only in the combination of material elements of which the body is constructed, but constructed, distributed, but also the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself living within the body. Such unauthorized fasting or austerities for some political end are certainly very disturbing to others. They are not mentioned in the Vedic literature. A demoniac person may think that he can force his enemy or other parties to comply with his desire by this method, but sometimes one dies by such fasting. These acts are not approved by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he says that those who engage in them are demons. Such demonstrations are insults to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are acted in disobedience to the Vedic scriptural injunctions. The word asitasa is significant in this correction. Persons of normal mental condition must obey the scriptural injunctions. Those who are not in such a position neglect and disobey the scriptures and manufacture their own way of austerities and penances. One should always remember the ultimate end of the demonic people as described in the previous chapter. The word forces them to take the Lord forces them to take birth in the womb of demonic person. Consequently, they will live by demonic principles life after life without knowing their relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If, however, such persons are fortunate enough to be guided by a spiritual master who can direct them to the path of Vedic wisdom, they can get out of this entanglement and ultimately achieve the supreme goal. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is fasting or the austerities. So those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride or egoism, who are compelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish, and who torture the material elements of the body, as well as the super soul dwelling within, are known to be demons. So the examples are some people indulging fast unto death until some political thing is not settled. Right? You will see that most in India, where people fast until death. And they do austerities just for this party to come into power. They want their thing to be accepted, whatever they're working for it, they want that to be obliged. So then they do this kind of, it's so foolish, it is so lower class actually to say, because you're torturing your body. Only austerities are to be done for the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord. Bhoktaram Yajna Shapadam. We read in the 5th chapter, right? Every austerity, everything, Krishna is the beneficiary for all things. And if you don't keep Krishna in the center when doing these things, it is like it's not even getting you the result, but you'll get entangled and go into the same process because the impressions will be there. If a person who has fasted until death and dies, for example, that has happened in India in the history. If you go to Indian history, politics, you'll see that the person has died. So what would be his consciousness? He has not done it for his purification. Neither his mind is getting elevated, nor body is, now his consciousness is not elevated, neither his mind is purified. So he will get into the same circumstance where he probably have to fast again for some other wrong reasons. Because these impressions are so hard to get removed of. these are coming life after life. They will haunt these persons like anything, like life of, without knowing, they don't know why some things are happening to some. Constantly, it's like a repetition in the life, constantly going through the same cycle, same cycle. Because of the past impressions, past um, samskaras one has developed, it is happening in this life. It will continue until they come to the stage of realization that I want higher power that can guide me to get out of this entanglement. Then, by that prayer, by some mercy of the devotees enter in their life and they start practicing some devotional services, some devotional activities, even in a very small stage, then the life start to change for them. That's what Prabhupada is saying. So they will take birth in the same situations over and over. It first of all, what they are doing is insult to the Supreme Personality because they are enacted in disobedience. There is no scriptural injunction to fast until death for a political reason or to immolate oneself. They do all this gimmicks in India. It's like so pathetic that it's so painful to see also. Like these people don't know what they are doing. Just because they get some party, some monetary benefit, they're ready to give up even their lives. Like that, it is painful. Yeah. So ultimate end of the demonic people, they are called, Krishna is calling them as demons. But the ultimate end is that they will be Lord forces them to take birth in the wombs of demonic, the similar situations, persons. Consequently, they will live by demonic principles life after life without knowing their relationship with the Supreme Personality of God. If, however, such persons are fortunate enough to be guided by a spiritual master who can direct them on the path to the path of Vedic wisdom, then they get out of this entanglement, ultimately achieve the Supreme. So that's the only hope we can have. That's why this book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan, what devotees do is to give mercy to such people because we don't know how each one can get benefited by these activities. They get a book, their trajectory is changing slowly. From this way they were going, slowly it has changed some angle. And finally, see, if you're going in a straight line and suddenly you take a small detour, you don't have such lines here in the roads because everything is curvy and all. But imagine if you do. If you're going on a straight line and a slight angle you take, slight angle and you take that route and go forward in that small angle, after a long distance, you're in opposite directions, almost. You're going to this way and you're supposed to go that way. So that is how, even if that is a wrong direction, right? Small step in the wrong direction can bring you down. Similarly, a small step in the right direction. Example, you give a book, they might have chanted one time Hare Krishna, or they've even heard it. Slowly it starts to drift from the path that they have chosen to the other path, one angle. Then over a period, if they are not doing it willfully and if they're not doing it consciously, then it will take time. So that angle that they have taken, slowly it will act. In this life, maybe this much. Next life, there will be some more. It's a long process, but then it will take you to the right path eventually. So that's how it is. This life is not easy. I mean, we have made a lot of austerities before we came here. So we have to be very careful with what we have. It's not something to be given up for any ordinary material things. Okay. Yeah, I will read now. 7th. Aharastvavapi sarvasya trivido bhavati priyaha yajnastapastata dhanam tesham vedam imam shunu. Synonyms. Ahara, eating, tu, certainly, api, also, sarvasya, of everyone, trivida, of three kinds, bhavati, there is, priyaha, dear, yajnaha, sacrifice, tapaha, austerity, tata, also, danam, charity, tesham, of them, vedam, the differences, imam, this, shunu, here. Translation. Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Now, here are the distinctions between them. Corporate. In terms of different situations in the modes of material nature, There are differences in the manner of eating and performing sacrifices, austerities, and charities. They are not all conducted on the same level. Those who can understand analytically what kind of performances are in what modes of material nature are actually wise. Those who consider all kinds of sacrifice or food or charity to be of the same cannot discriminate, and they are foolish. They are missionary workers who advocate that one can do whatever he likes and attain the perfection. But these foolish guides are not acting according to the direction of the scripture. They are manufacturing based and misleading the people in general. So this is when the point Krishna is speaking about the food, the sacrifice, austerity, and charity. Okay, what is the different types of food these people do in different kinds, and what are the sacrifices? So some people may say that, yeah, it is prasadam because we offered it to, say, some devata. It is still called as prasadam of that devata, not the prasadam of the Supreme Personality of God. So when we eat that, it has got its own it has gone its own potency of that demigod, not of the Supreme Lord, right? So they call everything is same, right? This is prasadam, but it is not Krishna prasad. It's some other demigod's prasadam. So there is a variation in this. So things will become different. When one has to understand the differences in this, even charity, you can give charity to any temple, for example, they say. Sorry, I have to be here in this way. I only explain this because ultimately we can give charity to anyone who is doing the propagation of Vedic culture. But if you want to be really careful, then you need to study this carefully. So charity you can give to anyone who's doing some social service, for example. Let's talk about social service. They are doing some food for life for some social cause, or they want to save animals. What is that? They're eating one type of animals and trying to save another type of animals. That doesn't make any sense. One person came to my door and says, one day, he asked me, he knocked on the door and said, we are trying to save the animals like dogs and cats who are on the road who get lost. You're trying to save, give some charity for that. Then I asked him one question. Are you vegetarian or non-vegetarian? He said, I am a non-vegetarian. What kind of animal protection are you doing? You're eating one type of animal and trying to protect another animal. He ran away. He couldn't answer it, so he just ran away. So like that. So it's very, very, they don't understand anything. They're not able to distinguish. So it becomes very, for them, it becomes anything is good. Like charity, give some charity to anything. It is charitable. It is not like that. When austerities is sacrifice, everything, food also, offered in different modes, has got different potency to that. We'll do one more words, I think. 8th. Oh, short purport. Ayu sattva balarogya sukhapriti vivardanaha rashayaha snigdha sthirastridya ahara sattvika priya. Ayu, duration of life, sattva, existence, bala, strength, arogya, health, shuka, happiness, priti, and satisfaction, vivardanaha, increasing, rasayaha, juicy, snigdaha, fatty, sthiraha, enduring, hridayaha, pleasing to the heart, ahara, food, sattvika, to one in goodness, priya, palatable. Translation. Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. So the foods that increase the duration, longevity of the life are in mode of goodness, and they give happiness and satisfaction. They are like juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing, not dry, not no some fat in it, like oil, ghee, like that. People do fasting, right? Like they want to slim down, so they don't eat any food with They eat food which is not having any fat in it because to slim down. So, and wholesome, whole grains, like that. Pleasing that, no purport to this. So, okay, next two verses are no purports. Ninth also. Only 10th we have. Eighth we just finished. Ninth we can also read. Anyone wants to read? Ninth.
I can read, Mataji.
Yeah, please read. Ninth.
कत्व अम्ल लवनाति उष्ण तीक्ष्ण रुक्षा विदाहिन आहार राजस्य इष्ट दुख शोकामय प्रदा. Synonyms: katu bitter, amla sour, lavana salty, ati usna very hot, tikshna pungent, ruksha dry, vidahina burning, ahara food, rajasya to one in the mode of passion, ishta palatable, dukha distress, shoka misery, amaya disease, prada causing. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease.
Foods that are bitter, too sour, salty. And if we eat also, we experience the same thing, right? We don't like it. It's too bittery, too soury. All flavors have to be there in our food, but not anything of too much. Not sugary, not sweet, not salty, of course, nobody can eat. Not too hot. And not too hot in the sense spice, pungent. And not too hot also, like it burn the tongue. So that is in passion. And such foods can cause misery, disease, and distress. So we'll pause here. The 10th one has the purport, bigger one. Proper explains a lot, I guess, and the 10th will continue. Any reflections? Any questions or comments?
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
If not, we will conclude here for the day.
Mataji, can you just... Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just thinking like, so, is the fermented food not recommended? Like,
No,
I don't know.
it is not like that. Where did it say fermented is not recommended? Anything of too much. If you only keep eating then that is not good. It will cause disease, right?
Okay.
Prabhupada didn't write a lot of purports to all of these because that's too much of anything. It's too much. Not like we have to eat fermented because that's sets the gut bacteria also, right? So
Yeah.
it is important to eat the fermented food, but not anything of any too much. That is the key.
Oh.
Okay, then we'll conclude here for the
Okay, Mataji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha. Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you. We'll meet next.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you,
so much.
Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.